Good afternoon and welcome. This is your show, Torn Into High. I'm your host, Gregory T. Roberts. Can you believe that it is September the 1st? Man, 2023 time really does go fast. Weather forecast for this day, high of 75, low of 51. It's going to be this way all the way into Labor Day, getting actually higher. And so we are excited about that. Janae, just to let you know, I can't control the board for some reason. So, you know, um, we have a special guest on today. If you don't know, I'm a retired firefighter. The fire department and police department is near and dear to my heart. But there's a special event. But before we go into that, what I need you to do is do what I'm doing. Go to your Facebook page and share this show to your page. Now, also, if you are one that are maybe you're driving right now and you want to listen to this show or watch this show, you can go to any of our Facebook pages, WVS 103.7 The Beat or M106. But what I need you to do, because news is information and information is powerful, is that you need to share this to your page um, because for a couple reasons. A lot of people don't necessarily know. A lot of people don't have Facebook. Um, and we don't necessarily have the context that you do. So share this to your page. Also, if you don't know, there is a Torn Into group page as well, and we would like to see you about on that page. And if you miss any other shows, like coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be interviewing all the candidates in the city of Muskegon, of course, but in the Muskegon Heights, we have several people running for mayor and several people running for council. And we're going to be interviewing all those. And it's important that you hear and see what they're saying. And so, with that said, I want you guys to be informed voters. Okay. Today, I get to introduce, he's the first time on this show. He is the new city manager for the city of Muskegon. It's Jonathan Seyferth. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Yourself, Mr. Roberts?
Did I pronounce that name or did I slaughter it?
It's Seyferth, but I answer to a lot of different pronunciations. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I have to say welcome to Muskegon because you have not been on the show yet.
I have not. This is my first time, and I'm excited to be here. I was telling you a little bit ago, I've heard a lot of great things, so I'm excited to finally make my debut with you.
As I told you before, the check is in the mail. Listen, you guys are doing something near and dear to my heart. The fire department is, and police are near and dear to my heart. You guys are making sure that those numbers are getting up, but more so, you guys are celebrating an anniversary. And well, before we talk about, tell Muskegon a little bit about yourself.
Oh, sure. So I'm actually a Muskegon area native. I grew up in North Muskegon and fifth generation Muskegon. So my grandmother, my dad's mom, grew up on Jefferson, just south of Laketon, in the Marshfield neighborhood, just a couple of blocks from Marshfield itself. My grandfather's a graduate of the Heights, and my grandma's side, the family goes back several generations. So I'm really excited to be the manager here in Muskegon in my home community. As I was going through school and working in other communities, I always kind of said that this was my dream job to be able to come back to this community. And I was fortunate enough that the commission selected me the end of last year. Came on board in end of November, just after Thanksgiving. So about 9.5, 10 months in now, and it's going really well. It's a lot to learn, a lot going on. It's a more complex organization than what I've been in before as a manager. I managed communities in Kent and Ottawa County before coming here, and had a number of other jobs in government, frontline staff, caseworker, help people navigate federal casework issues with the VA and Department of Defense and Social Security.
Mm.
I've always kind of been in that service role, and that's something that I really try to bring to the job here is, how can we make sure that we're working with people to move things forward? So I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, one thing that I've said that Muskegon was blessed because not only did they hire you, but the person that was second in the running, we have both. Talk
We
a
do.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so Leanne Mikesell, the deputy city manager, so she was interim after Frank Peterson left. She was the other finalist, and we were fortunate that she wanted to stay, and she's a great asset to the community. She's a Muskegon native, and brings a lot of experience at different levels of government as well. And I think us as a team, we balance each other out. She's able to concentrate on things and have context for things that I might not have context for, or she's got the background to get those things moving forward. So it's a really great combination. We work very well together, and I really trust her to do the things that she's working on to get it done. And so sometimes that doesn't always mesh with when you have a new manager coming in with senior leadership, but we're doing really well with that. We're fortunate to have a really great senior leadership team. We've got a new public works director,
Right.
a relatively new police and fire chief, public safety director, and then from development services and finance and administration. We just have a really good team that is really dedicated to the city and doing what's best for residents and businesses.
You have a new public service director, and who's doing a great job, by the way. You have new equipment, new fire trucks,
Yep.
and then new ones ordered in.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit before we talk about the anniversary. How important is getting all that stuff caught up and for the safety of the county?
Oh, it's very very critical. The planning of that, how you budget for that going forward. So we're putting together capital plans or updating capital plans to make sure that we know what equipment is going to need to be replaced when, and how are we going to pay for that? What buckets of money is it coming out of? Are we applying for grants to pay for part of it? Is it coming out of the general fund, equipment fund, things of that nature? So Director Kozal is working very diligently to make sure that plan is updated. Not too long ago, we took delivery of a new engine that is based at the Central Fire Station downtown on Terrace, engine 23. So you'll see that driving around. It's got the Central Fire Station logo on it, which is, they're called the Downtown Barons. And there's a logo, kind of looks like Monopoly guy on the side. So if you see that driving around, that's the new engine. And we're working forward to ordering other equipment. One of the big challenges that we have right now, and this is not just Muskegon but all fire departments, really, is the lead time on ordering engines. It used to be you could order an engine and within a year, maybe a little bit more than a year, you would have the finished product. Now we're looking at 24 and 36 month timelines.
Right.
So the planning on that becomes even more important, because if you wait until you need the truck, you're not going to have it.
Yeah,
So
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. So it takes planning to make sure that we're looking forward to see what is it we're going to need when, and that's a big part of the senior leadership team's job, is to make sure that we're getting the equipment and the supplies to our team members in all departments of the city. Because that's, they need those tools to do the job that they do to serve our residents and businesses.
Okay, you see, you have a big emblem on your shirt.
I do.
There.
Yes.
It is the 150th years of service of the City of Muskegon Fire Department, the MFD. I am so proud of the MFD. Talk about this anniversary.
Yeah, so this is just a really cool thing to celebrate. We started as a fire department, more volunteer, as many did, and as some smaller departments around the country still are, and it evolved over time,
Mhm.
and to where we are now with 27 members of the team, and in 3 stations on the east, west, and central parts of the city. So we wanted to make sure that we were taking time to celebrate where we've been and where we're going during the month of September. So there'll be a variety of things starting next week to really mark that anniversary. And I would encourage, if your folks want to learn more about the history of the fire department, the Lakeshore Museum Center has a podcast, and they have a whole episode dedicated to the history of the fire department, talking about how things started back in the 1800s, from the volunteer departments that we had at the Hackley Station, and how all that kind of developed over time. So it's a really interesting history on where we were as a community when this department started, and to where we are today.
Mhm. So let's talk about some of the events that we have happening during that 150th anniversary.
Sure. So actually, the big stuff starts a week from today. So next Friday, middle of the day, from 11 in the morning till 4, there's going to be a blood drive at the Central Fire Station. The goal is to get 150 donors during the day, because it's the 150th anniversary.
Yeah.
So that will be on Friday. You can do a walk-in, or you can sign up in advance. There's a QR code on a flyer. I'll email that to your folks, so that way you guys have it. That'll be going up on our Facebook page as well, early next week. Then Saturday is kind of the fun day, and that is going to be a parade for the public, and that starts at, just want to make sure I'm looking at the right time, 11 a.m.
Yep.
And the parade starts at 11. It starts at the Central Fire Station on Terrace, and then it'll head up Western, and then it'll snake up to Clay, and it'll end at the Historic Fire Barn Museum on Clay Street, between 5th and 6th.
Okay.
So then folks can check that historic fire station out as well, which that historic fire station has one of our old fire trucks that was still in operation in the city up into the mid 20th century. So it's a pumper truck that you can check out in there. And then we're doing some other things before and after the parade to honor current and former firefighters. So prior to the parade, there's going to be a breakfast for the retirees that the current firefighters are hosting. And then later in the day, we're going to have a lunch for the active and retired firefighters. We also have a number of businesses that throughout the month of September, they're doing specials to commemorate the 150th of the fire department. Some of those are special foods or special drinks, things of that nature. But a number of our breweries in town, distilleries, bars, restaurants, ice cream shops, burger joints, pizza places are doing these different specialty items for the 150th. So if you're walking up Western Avenue, you can grab ice cream at Hometown Creamery, or you can go up 3rd Street and get a burger at Hamburger Mikey's. They both have those specials going on for the fire department, and as does like No Name Saloon and Mike's and Rake and a lot of different Wonderland over in Lakeside. So we've got a whole list of businesses that have those specialty items for the month of September. So other things that you can do just to show your support for the fire department, there's a Facebook profile frame that you can put on your Facebook page. If you just search under the frame search on Facebook, Muskegon Fire, it'll pop right up. It's a red ringed frame, and then on the bottom, this same logo that I've got on my shirt is on there. And you can also get some swag. The store closed, that was through Trophy House, but during the parade, there's t-shirts that can be purchased. that have the logo on the front like this, and then on the back I have a bigger logo with 150th on it as well. So we really encourage people on Saturday at 11 to come out and support the fire department as we honor them for everything that they've done for our community over the past 150 years. And obviously they'll continue to serve with honor and distinction going forward into the future as well.
I'm going to have to make sure to order that swag, because to get a shirt that's that damn size is going to be a little challenging. How important is it for the community to be involved with the city and the fire department?
It's very important, because we're here to serve the community, and the fire department, the job that they do, everyone knows how important it is. They're the individuals who show up, the men and women who show up when you need them most. And usually when you probably aren't sure what to do, you've called 911, there's some type of emergency, whether it's medical or a fire, car accident, something like that. They are there. They are calm, cool, and collected, and they help our community members when they need that help. By us coming out just to, wave at them and say thank you at the parade, or when you see them at the station, is, it means a lot to them. I don't live too far from the Central Fire Station. I walk by fairly frequently. The team members are out there, doing chores around the station, washing the fire truck, or just the bays are open, and I see, young kids will wander in with their parents to look at the trucks, and the team members will open up those cabs, get those kids in there, let them see what an inside of a fire truck is like, give them a little kid fire hat. And just, that community relationship that the fire department has with the community is so important. It energizes our team members. That's one of the big reasons they do the job that they do. They love serving the community. They love the companionship and the camaraderie of being a firefighter. They're with their team members for 24 hours at a time. That's how long their shifts are, sometimes longer if they pick up shifts on either side. And so they really start to build a sense of family. And so there's a lot of reasons that they become firefighters, but that connection to the community, I think, from talking to our different members of the team and in other communities I've served, that's always a consistent message. Is they like being able to serve the community. They like the interaction that they have with the community. They like being able to be a highlight of a kid's week sometimes, when they're just happen to be wandering by those fire stations. And it's just it's a great thing. So for us to be able to give back to them and show them that we really appreciate what it is they do is very important.
One of the things that Chief Kozal changed is usually when you see the fire department or police department, it's on your worst day.
Yep.
But what they've done is they've gotten out to do activities like on hot days, spraying kids with waters in different areas, meeting and greeting people, being at public events. That has changed a lot. We want to thank them for being at our neighborhood family reunion. It was the hit of the show. It was the hit. But talk a little bit about that change of thinking.
Yeah, that's very true, because a lot of times people do interact with police and fire on really bad days or really bad instances. And we want to be able to have those positive interactions with people, so that in the unfortunate event that you do have to have an interaction with a member of public safety, whether it's police or fire, you might have had the opportunity to interact with them in a more lighthearted way. And so Chief Kozal, and this was really, his brainchild, and the community policing unit and the fire department really ran with it, was these pop-up block parties. And so we've been doing over the summer, and it'll continue through September. In each neighborhood, we've been doing these pop-up parties. So once a week, we're in a different neighborhood, and they last for about an hour, but we bring ice cream. Fire truck comes and they spray the kids with water up the street, allow them to kind of have that experience where they're, just having some carefree time and having really good interactions with our public safety folks. And I've gone to a little less than half of them, just depending on when they are able to pop up on my schedule. And the interactions that I've seen with the with the young kids who are having that interaction with a firefighter, where the firefighters adjusting the spray of the hose as they're running through it, and kind of playing back and forth, and the kids are in swimsuits and having a great time, and the firefighters getting soaked and having a great time. It's awesome. And then I've seen moms come up and give whether it's our firefighters or our police officer hugs, and just saying thanks for giving my little boy or my little girl this positive interaction, or this great memory for the summer. This is one of our highlights of the day or the week, and we're glad that this was able to happen. And we're just having these fun interactions. We're jumping rope, giving out books, giving out ice cream, and just having a very fun interaction with folks. And the chief wants to make sure that we're having those type of interactions and building those relationships in a positive way throughout the community, throughout the year, and seeing us seeing our public safety folks at different events, not just at those pop-up parties, but other things as well. And you'll see, and on the police side, we're exploring bringing back the canine unit. So we've one of our officers used to be a canine handler in her other jobs, and so she'll bring her dog so that the public can interact with those tools of law enforcement, so they can understand how that can help, and how friendly the dogs are, and things of that nature. So we're really taking those steps to make sure that people have interactions with public safety, both police and fire, outside of when they're having a really bad day. And I think our public safety folks appreciate that too, because they're able to, have those conversations and laugh and joke and all that kind of stuff, which obviously in those other situations, they're very focused on making things safe and getting things back to normal for people as best that they can. So they don't necessarily have that time to build that rapport or those individual relationships like they do in these other pop-up parties and other community events that we're doing.
Under talking to the chief, that you guys have made a commitment to get those numbers up as far as hirees with police and fire.
Yes. We're so in the fire department right now, we're at about 27 firefighters, which our staffing level there is pretty good. There's always discussion on like what's the ideal staffing level and things of that nature. On the police side, and this isn't just unique to Muskegon, this is departments everywhere. There's challenges with the number of folks who want to go into the police service. And so there's competition and recruitment away from one department to another department. So we're working very diligently to make sure that we're increasing our numbers in our fire or in our police department and in our fire department. But in our police department, we're looking at helping pay for people to go to the academy and paying them while they're in the academy. And we're, making sure that we're trying to recruit a public safety force that is, reflective of the community that we serve, because that's very important.
Right. We're talking to Jonathan Seyferth, and I think we lost connection, but we're talking about the 150th year celebration that is coming up. I just want to tell you guys that this is the opportunity that even if you can't make the parade or if you can't make the events, you can do something all month long. Let me tell you, firefighters like to eat. If you want to drop off something at your local station, that will be great and highly appreciative. I think I'm going to talk to the chief and see if we can do next week's show at one of the fire stations. Needless to say, this is quite special to me, of having the years of service that I did. We celebrate the 125th, and now we're at 150 years of service. Excuse me. So next week, that's Saturday, September the 9th at 11 a.m. downtown Western, starting by Central Fire Station. Going around to the old historical fire station. There will be a parade route for the retirees. There will be a breakfast and coffee at 8:30. Hopefully you RSVP'd. And then there's going to be a luncheon as well. So if you would like to, hey, you're back.
Hey, I'm back. I'm not sure what happened with the internet here, but I'm slinging it through my phone, so we'll see if this.
Hey, all kinds of things happen, but the show must go on. Hey, listen. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to say? And then we're going to have you come on and talk about city business.
Sure. I think we've covered the 150th pretty well. I just really want to encourage folks to come out next Saturday at 11 for that parade, just to show our appreciation to our men and women in the fire department.
If somebody has a question or concern about their part of the city and would like to talk to the city manager, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So if you go to our city website, which is muskegon-mi.gov, there is under city services, we list all our departments out. City manager is one of those offices. If you click on there, my phone number and email and office address are right there.
Okay. City Manager Jonathan Seyferth, we would like to thank you for being on the show for the first time. We will have you back, sir.
Thank you, sir. I look forward to it.
All right. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. So that was the City Manager, Jonathan Seyferth. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back, and hopefully we will have a special guest, the city mayor. You're watching and listening to Torn in Two on WVS 103.7 The Beat and M106. We'll see you in a second.
The second annual I Am Her Feminine Hygiene Drive, supporting young ladies from Ghana, Africa, in need of everyday essentials and feminine hygiene products, was a great success. Thanks to the generosity of our community and organizations like Period.org, Muskegon Heights Public School Academy, Confident Cosmetics, Muskegon Heights Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Inc., and everyone who made a contribution. Hundreds of young ladies and village members received essential items. The community made a lasting impact with more than 10,000 sanitation items donated. If you would like to help, donations can be made year-round by dropping off items in the donation shed at the Mays and Wright Media Center, located at 1877 Peck Street, or making a contribution to paypal.me/1037thebeats. For more information, call 231-727-5007. Thank you for supporting I Am Her Foundation.
And welcome back to WVS 103.7 The Beat and M106, the show Torn in Two. And we are celebrating that it's going to be 150 years of service with the fire department. Do I have a special guest? We'll see. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I'd like to welcome the mayor of Muskegon, Mr. Ken Johnson.
Good afternoon, Gregory. How are you?
Good. How you doing? Now, wait a minute. I told you I had a special surprise that my daughter made sure. It's a smaller size, but I can't fit in it yet.
Oh, word. Wonderful.
So I want
you and I can get some steps in. We both can slim down, and then you can fit into that yourself.
I'm working on it. I'm down 2 X's. There's a whole bunch of X's to go. So
way to go. Me too. So we'll kick it up together.
Yeah, we'll kick it up. How are you doing today, Mayor?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, it's a good week. Friday's here. We got a holiday weekend, Labor Day coming up. Going to spend time with family and friends, and so I'm excited for the weekend.
Listen, I was just talking to the city manager, first time on the show. Seems like he's a nice guy. I heard that he's doing a great job.
Yes, he is. He's not only a good guy, but he is an excellent city manager, and we're so fortunate to have him on our team, working for the benefit of our community.
But you got a celebration coming up. Talk about how special it is 150 years of service for the MFD.
Isn't that neat? Yeah, and thank you, not only for your service as a former retired firefighter, but also contributing to that committee and getting these festivities going throughout the month of September. And so I heard Jonathan sharing a number of our city manager sharing a number of events that are coming up. So I don't necessarily want to rehash or duplicate that, but you can find that on the city's website. If you look for the 150th Muskegon Fire Department 150th anniversary on ShoreLineCity.com, and you can find the list of all the different events coming up. There's a blood drive, there's a parade, there's a luncheon for the retirees and active firefighters. And then there's specials happening at businesses all across downtown, from Break Beer Project to Social Bowl to Hometown Creamery, and I know I'm missing another one. But you can find out all the business specials, patronize our local independent small businesses, and support our fire department in the process, because all the excess proceeds that aren't needed for putting on the festivities will go towards training, because that's something that our fire department does exceptionally well. They work day in and day out. When they're not combating fires, when they're not responding to medical calls, they're very intentional about training, continuously training, so they can be at the top of their game when it is time for them to respond to those emergencies.
I think that's very important that people don't know about the training. You train when things are going good, so when things are bad, that you are ready. So you're right about the training. I want to talk to you about the fire department came into the neighborhood for the family reunion, and they showed some of the new equipment, high-tech equipment that we had to go in and as people don't know, they see fires on TV and they can see each other. No, you can't. It's smoke, it's dark. You have to go until you see an orange glow and where it's hot, and then that spray the water. Now you have special equipment, thermal imagers that tell you where people are on each one of the guys. How important is it to have that new technology?
Incredibly important, not only so that our firefighters can get to those that may be trapped or in harm's way as quickly as possible, but also to protect our firefighters, because we want to make sure that all lives are protected, our firefighters and those that we're responding to. So technology is so incredibly important. And I know that we're also looking at potentially adding a drone program where we could use drones to provide an aerial view of fires, structural fires, so that we can better stage responses to those fires and putting them down and getting to anyone that may be injured or trapped as quickly as possible at the same time.
We talked about how important it was to have the community involved, to have that relationship. I want to get your perspective on it.
It is so incredibly important. And I'm really happy that we have leadership in our public safety director, Chief Timothy Kozal, as well as our city manager, Jonathan Seyferth, that supports that community connection, that gets our public safety personnel, whether police or fire, out there into our neighborhoods, engaging with our residents, not just responding to emergencies and having our community see those personnel on in some of the worst moments of their lives, but being able to be there day to day, building those relationships and cultivating community. That's so incredibly important, is that cultivation of community.
Mm-hmm. You have made it a pledge since you ran for mayor to build those numbers up, and to work on bringing in new equipment, and you've done a fantastic job. I want to talk about your commitment and what you have done so far.
Yeah, one, it's leadership in our administrative positions, and two, it's having a commission that supports allocating resources, because that's so much of what the city commission does, and I'm one member of that city commission, one of 7. But that's a chief responsibility of the commission, which is allocating limited resources when you have so many demands and needs, and then beyond those demands and needs, you have so many additional wants that the community impresses upon us. So responsibility of ours is how do we allocate those resources? And so I'm happy that our commission has been and leadership team have supported allocating additional resources for more hiring, employment in our fire, raising wages, raising compensation there for new firefighters, because previously it was unconscionably low to start as a firefighter in our department. So that's been bumped now.
Let me get that in. The wages were dismal.
Yeah.
But you guys you're changing that and working on that. Another thing that
we still need to, I'm not saying, I'm speaking for myself here. I'm not speaking for the organization necessarily, but I'm speaking for myself. And that's my perspective, that we still need to get our numbers up even more. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. We are making progress. We're taking steps. I'd like to see us, bump up our staffing even further. And I'd like us, when the opportune time presents itself, for us to explore that potential consolidated fire protection services, because that is really focused on having the staffing and the equipment adequate and strategically placed to best respond to our community in moments of needs.
Right. But I left there 44 some odd individuals, and you guys are working to get those numbers up as well as pay. Talk about, since you've been mayor, we have a fire truck, a couple fire trucks, and one on the way.
Yeah, so we just put a new engine, now 23, a frontline engine into service. That was a completely custom built engine. So that wasn't one we just, bought off the shelf or bought used or, got from another department. That was an intentionally custom built engine for our department. And our firefighters were engaged in the build out of that and the equipping of that and making sure that it serves and supports them best as they are serving our community.
I think people do not understand that when you buy a fire truck, it's not like you go to a new or used place and kick a tire and buy it. No, those trucks are specially made and designed for your community. And you guys have picked up that equipment, and you guys have picked up other equipment for the beach. You guys have, and it's shown that the care that you guys have for the community and the firefighters.
Mm-hmm. And our administrators are being intentional in developing that capital asset management plan going forward, so that we are allocating those resources for the proper maintenance of the equipment that we have, but also for replacement. We know equipment eventually needs to be replaced, and so having solid capital asset management plans in place so that we can prepare for funding that and not, suddenly be caught flat-footed and need to be replacing equipment suddenly and not necessarily have the resources or the advanced time of ordering in place.
I think another important thing that we need to mention to people, the city manager talked about having a fire and police department that looks like your city. Hello. But one of the things that I was blessed was that a kid coming off the streets with no fire experience, but took the civil service test, interviewed, did, and came up, and during my year, was sent to school, paid to go to school, and was able to complete all of that while being a member of the MFD. But those same opportunities are there for people right now.
Yes. So I know that the MFD had piloted a program with the Muskegon Community Education Center based out of Muskegon High School, and where students were able to go through a kind of a training program with our fire department and learn about that service and that profession, kind of give them a head start if they wanted to pursue that profession. And then also our police department right now, and we're very much hiring. We're looking for people. If anybody is interested in becoming a police officer, reach out to our police department, because right now we do have resources available to put interested and qualified applicants through the police academy, pay for them to go through the academy, pay them a stipend while they're going through the academy. So it's not like they have to maintain another job while going through the academy. They will be paid a stipend, or they not necessarily have to maintain a full-time job. Maybe they still have a part-time job, but they'll be paid a stipend while they're going through the academy. And then once they come out of the academy, they graduate and they're qualifying candidates. They very likely will have a job opportunity with the City of Muskegon Police Department. And so we certainly are welcoming and encouraging interested applicants, particularly from our community, to go through that process. Because like you said, we are very intentional on having our police and fire, but also our organization overall being reflective of the community that we serve.
And that the opportunity when you hire people like that, they will probably stay around if they're from the city that hired them.
Yeah, we would hope there's some loyalty there, and not to mention some family or friend connections that will ground them in our community. But also because they have those relationships within the community already, they're at an advantage coming into our police or fire department, in that they have those connections and they can lean on them to cultivate more of that community connection with the department overall, and advance our missions of how we serve and protect our community.
Now, I want your opinion, and City Manager Jonathan answer this question. I'm going to give you the same question. How important, and this is from the chief that developed this, is it when you see police and fire on your worst day, now you guys are doing things to develop relationships that people can see police and fire on good days.
That's important, because that helps contribute the healthy relationship and that trust. And so if our community trusts our police and fire, then they are not going to hesitate to call on them when they're in need or know and see someone else in need. And so that connection to foster that trust and those bonds is incredibly important.
What is your thought about the businesses that have poured into the MFD to buy equipment?
I think it's wonderful. I'm so happy that we do have our local businesses supporting our fire department, without a doubt. And it's really thrilling to see them, some of our, not only the business that are sponsoring Muskegon Fire Department festivities, the 150th anniversary festivities this month, but those businesses that are doing month-long specials and promotions, in which proceeds are being given back to the festivities themselves, as well as to the training. And a few of these businesses are Hamburger Mikey's. They've got a burger special. Rake Beer Project has a special brew. Wonderland Distillery has a special cocktail. Pigeon Hill Brewery has a sangria. And then 18th Amendment also has a special going on as well.
Okay. Now, it has this Unruly Brewery as well.
I didn't see this on this list, but this list might not be updated, so I couldn't be for certain.
Okay. Talk about, and it's fairly mentioned, we don't talk about blood drives anymore. And blood is so much needed in our community, state, and country, but a lot of people don't give blood. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there's a Red Cross blood drive that the Muskegon Fire Department is putting on, which is going to be a week from today, next Friday, September 8th. And that's going on from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And there is a blood drive Facebook event page for that, so people can find that out and indicate their interest, so that they're going and share it and encourage others to go and give blood. The fire department is aiming to get at least 150 donors donating that day. So please come down, share the word, encourage your friends, families, and neighbors to give blood, because it is really important when there are injuries. Um, Oftentimes there will be, significant injuries. There will be need for blood transfusion, and so having a readily available supply of blood of the varying different blood types is important to save lives.
Well, I want to go off subject here for a second. Excuse me, but it still has something to do with the fire department and police. Developing those relationships is special, but what about if someone in their neighborhood sees blight or on the pleasing side, seeing criminal activity in something that a house that is vacant?
So if they're seeing what they suspect to be illegal activity happening in the moment, folks are welcome to call 911. When in doubt, call 911. A lot of times people think that, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to, take up their time or resources. But that's what 911 is for. It is to respond to those emergencies and criminal activity happening. So if you are seeing what you suspect to be criminal activity happening in that moment, people are welcome to call 911. Now, there is a non-emergency number as well that folks can contact to the police department, or you're welcome to stop by the police department and share your concerns, or reach out to our neighborhood police officer. The city of Muskegon has a community policing program, and we have an officer assigned. Every neighborhood has an officer assigned to them. And so that's another way for people to, like we're talking about, building those connections and cultivating that community, those relationships. But that's another way for people to share their concerns at a maybe less formal way and have them followed up on.
Mm-hmm. Mayor Ken, what is the future? What do you see some of the future things with the Muskegon Fire Department? I know another truck is on order.
So that remains to be seen. We do have an election coming up this year. The 4 wards have elections. We know that there's going to be a turnover in 2 of those seats because the incumbents did not choose to run for re-election. That is wards 1 and 3, and then ward 2 and 4 have competitive elections. So that's going to influence where we go as a city. As the commission that determines how to allocate resources and budgeting for a staff complement. And so what comes out of that will influence where we go as a city with regard to our resource allocation to Muskegon Fire Department. I'm, as you know, I am interested in bumping up those staffing and making sure that we do have the equipment needed to respond to our emergencies, but also not necessarily have to have one of everything. If a neighboring department that we have a good relationship with and that we can rely on for mutual aid has a piece of equipment that's awfully expensive and doesn't get used, but maybe a couple times a year or something, a handful of times a year, is it necessary for us to put that considerable cost and expense into that one piece of equipment just so that we can say we have one of everything? Or does it make sense for us to lean on our neighbors to use that equipment in the time of need if it is on a limited basis, and then we can redirect those resources, which we know are scarce, into something that is going to be more meaningful and have a more impactful and extensive use by our fire department in service to community. But as you also know, I am interested in exploring a consolidated fire protection service for our greater Muskegon, for our urban core. And that's working with neighboring municipalities of willing partners to see, is there a way forward that we could establish a urban core fire authority? And maybe it doesn't even need to be just urban core. Maybe it could branch out and expand beyond that. But I'm thinking of our core cities in Muskegon County, and potentially finding a way forward that we establish a fire authority that's going to serve all of those participating members. And then we can eliminate some of that duplicative administrative overhead that every department is paying. We can lessen the costs that go into administration and redirect those resources, which again, we know resources are scarce, but redirect those resources into staffing and into equipment. And so that we have a well-staffed and very well-equipped fire authority serving the urban core or greater Muskegon area.
All right, Mayor Johnson, you just mentioned something that I didn't. I knew that Ward 1, that was Hood, was not coming back, correct?
That's
But
correct. Eric Good. Yep.
But I didn't know 3 was not
Ward
coming
3 is
back.
Michael Ramsey, and he did not file for running, and so he's not on the ballot. The only candidate in Ward 3 that's on the ballot is Destiny Keener.
Where's Ward 3?
Ward 3, and we just launched a new mapping tool so people can go onto the shorelinecity.com and find that. It's also on the, I think, MuskegonVotes.com. That you can find what ward you're in. You can look up by address, or you can just look at the map and find your area. But that shows you each of the 4 wards. It shows you all 14 of the precincts in the city of Muskegon. And if you find your address on there or which precinct you're in, you can identify all your elected officials. And every resident in the city of Muskegon has 4 members of the commission representing them, and 4 is the magic number on the city commission, because 4 is the number required to approve any motion or direction or policy or budget or contract. And so every resident has 4 representatives on the city commission. There's the mayor, which is at large, and then there are 2 at-large city commissioners. That's Rebecca St. Clair and Rachel Gorman. And then each resident has their own ward commissioner, and we have 4 ward commissioners. And Ward 1 is the east end of the city of Muskegon. Ward 2 is more of the central core of the city of Muskegon. Ward 3 is the south of the city of Muskegon and runs pretty much the length of Laketon. It does run the length of Laketon, east to west. It goes all the way out to DPW at Keating and the East Muskegon neighborhood over there. And then hugs just a little bit north and south of Laketon, all the way west to the Nims neighborhood. So that's Ward 3. And then Ward 4 is the west end of the city of Muskegon, which would be Campbell Field, Glenside, Lakeside, and Beechwood Bluffton neighborhood.
I want to give an exclusive here. Since we're talking about elections, the city of Muskegon just hired somebody else to deal with elections, which is brand new news to me. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we did create with this new budget that just got underway. Our fiscal year started July 1st. We did budget and create an elections coordinator position. So that's someone to help support our clerk's office, which does a phenomenal job in so many different ways of serving our city and its citizens, but to bolster their efforts with elections, particularly going into this next election year, which is going to be a presidential election. And then you've got a number of state elections or U.S. Senate and county elections and a lot of others. It's going to be a busy election year next year. And then also there's a requirement starting next year of, I believe it's 9 or 10 days of early voting, in-person voting prior to election day. So they need additional resources and support in that regard. And we just so happens that we were very fortunate to have a very well-versed and experienced person apply for this elections coordinator job. She just retired out of Northern Shores.
Northern Shores.
Yeah, she was the Northern Shores city clerk, and she is now with the city of Muskegon as our election coordinator.
Wow. All right, so it's 3 minutes left in the show. What do you would like to say? What would you first like to say to all the firefighters right now as the mayor?
Well, just because I didn't want to be remiss in not mentioning her name, but that is Shelly Stibbets,
Okay.
who retired from Northern Shores and is now in our city clerk's office, and we're so fortunate and grateful to have her. But now, with regard to our fire department, it's first and foremost, it's thanks. It's gratitude for every member of our fire department who is willing to put their life and limb in jeopardy to protect the well-being of our residents. And that is just a sacred responsibility. And for anyone, police and fire, who's willing to put their life on the line to protect the lives of others. That is a noble calling, and something that we must just be thankful and grateful for, and let them know. And that's part of what these festivities are about. It's not just about celebrating 150 years of service from a fire department, but it's an opportunity for our community to celebrate that service and show our appreciation and thanks at the same time.
Yeah, you have to be a proud mayor.
I am. I'm proud of the team that we have at every level of our organization. I'm proud of the folks that we have serving us in our Muskegon Fire Department. And I'm proud of the community that we have, and so many people throughout this city seeking collaboration, seeking that cultivation of community, seeking a better way forward for our city and its citizens. And so I am a proud mayor of what's happening and what's to come for our city, because the best is yet to come.
One thing I want to say about you, Mary, is that if you need to contact, if you have a problem or something that you want to talk about, you are available at all times. So give people that information if people would like to talk to you.
Yeah, people can email me. That's ken.johnson@shorelinecity.com. They can send a letter to the City Hall, 933 Terrace Street. They can stop by one of our commission meetings. Not only are our commission meetings open to the public, and we have public comment at the beginning of the meeting, we have public comment at the end of the meeting, but we also allow phone-in comment. So if you're not able to be physically present at one of our meetings, you can watch it on one of the live streams that's on YouTube or Facebook. You can watch it on Public Access Channel 96. You can phone in your comments. And if you want to speak with me one-on-one, you can, like I said, email or come to one of my mayoral office hours. So the weekend before each commission meeting, I typically have office hours somewhere in our city. Sometimes it's at Heckley Park. Sometimes it's at the Pocket Park in Lakeside. Sometimes I'm at a place of business to support our local entrepreneurs. Sometimes I'm, Cruzy Park or Smith Ryerson Park. I try to get around the city in different places just to make myself available and accessible for people to speak with me outside of City Hall in a less formal, less stodgy, setting, so we can have those conversations.
All right. Mayor Ken Johnson, thank you so much, and happy 150th.
Absolutely. Happy 150th, and thank you so much. You enjoy your weekend, and have a very happy Labor Day.
All right. Take care. All right. Listen, people, do me a favor. Not only kids, teenagers, or somebody, as a kid, you dream about being a police officer or a firefighter. There's an opportunity for you to do so. So take advantage of those openings with the city of Muskegon. Excuse me. The last thing I want to say is that we always end this show with a saying that go out and sow a seed in somebody's life. We really mean it, because you don't know who you are affecting or who you're touching out. That person may have a smile on their face, but they have tears that you don't see. So this weekend, Labor Day, the last barbecuing weekend of the summer, go out, feed somebody, go knock at a neighbor's door, go talk to the youth. They do want to be approached. Go sow that seed in somebody's life. And we'll see you next week. 150 years, MFD. We'll see you next week. Take care and God.